to do 10 years and to come out of this half-assed good, I mean, in a good way, I was going to have to cooperate.
The deal you made, was it specifically for like, I'm going to get 5 years in prison or something like that?
No, I got 11. And then, you do 85% of your time. Then,
but you only did like 5, right?
Yeah, because the rest is a Rule 35 that you provide additional cooperation after sentencing, and you get a reduction.
Okay, that's what. Yeah. So you just missed my friend Matt Cox at Coleman. He was there. When did he go into Leslie? Like 07, something like that. 06, 07?
Yeah.
I want to say. So you got out in 2005, but he was the same thing. Like he went in there, he was sentenced to like 26. He ended up doing 13 because he helped the government on stuff.
Also, no violence helps.
Yeah.
If I would have had some violence, it would have been a different story.
For sure. So you get in there, and what was that when you're talking with all these agencies, you're letting them know about the Africa plan? What other kinds of things did you talk about them with?
Well, just in general, how everything's done. They're very interested in, how the shipping, how you recruit, in the countries, the whole logistics of the operation, how the boats are bought, the funneling of the money, the laundering of the money, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And then you end up going to Coleman for 5. Were you in there with anyone cool? Were you friends with anyone we would know?
Crazies. Yeah, we had a great, Coleman, it's all about time. A guy that's doing 27 years is not in the same frame of mind as a guy that's doing 5.
Right.
So you can't mix them up, because the guy that's doing 27, puts his head on his pillow every night. 27 is a hair. That's why my first year at the building, at the federal building, was a tough one, because I was still looking at 30 years. It takes a year for you to start ironing it all out. And then you get sent away to prison. So you get sent away to prison based on your level of violence and how much time you have. You can't put a guy that's going to do 3 years with a guy that's doing 30 or a violent guy. So, but in Coleman, it was, federal time. I think anybody can do. Federal time is good time. Okay,
it's good time.
Yeah, it's.
That's a new one.
I mean, it's not great to go to jail. But I exercised. I respected everybody. I didn't, disrespect anybody. There's a code of respect. I kept busy playing the drums. I'm gonna take a quick.
Oh yeah. Let's stop for 1 sec for a quick break. All right, we're back. What I wanted to ask though is, right when we were going to break, is, were you worried about reprisal, though, from anyone connected to the cartels or something because you had cooperated on your sentence? I know you had mentioned that in Colombia there had been a thing between the DEA and the Colombians, that this was starting to become a thing, but I got to still think there's a lot of people who are inside it who haven't cooperated, who would be pissed that, someone like turned on some other people within the operation.
Well, my case, once again, it was a little different. I had my family living in Mexico. And when I realized that to do 10 years and to come out of this half-assed good, in a good way, I was going to have to cooperate. I had my wife go to Colombia and talk to some of my partners that were still out there. Yeah, she's got some balls on her.
Yeah, I'll say. Christ.
So she went to Colombia.
Ex-wife at this point.
My ex-wife. I'm telling you, if there's a hero in this story, it's her. This is just one more time that she just went to bat full on. Nobody does this. She went to Colombia and she spoke to a few of my associates that I've mentioned and some that I haven't. And she said, look, he's been caught. We all know that. And he's probably looking at 30 years. Now, he has an option to cooperate, but he wants me to come down here and he wants to be very, open about this. If he has to do 30 years because I'm going to get killed and the kids are going to get killed and this is going to be a major clusterfuck, he's going to call it quits, and he'll do his 30 years. He'll take his lick because that's what it is. Obviously, he can't cooperate if something's going to happen to his family. They told her, listen, he's worked with us for years and years and years. We've all made a lot of money. We're all going down the same path. This is over. There's nothing new. This shit is over. I mean, if we don't get, I mean, we're probably going to end up in the same place he's going to end up. This is
how magnanimous.
I mean, and they did. They spoke to her and they said, let him do what he needs to do to get out.
And who was it specifically in Colombia she was talking to again?
Well, she talked to Mickey. She talked to Raz. She spoke to Papito. And who else was it? One of them didn't show up. Who was it that was on there? One of them. But she spoke to three of the major persons I was working with. And they told her that for me to do whatever I needed to do, because, we all have to deal with this situation on our own ways, that there's no reprisal. There's no, nobody's going to go after her. She lived in Mexico. She didn't live in the U.S. So she didn't have a visa. They had taken her visa away.
Mm.
They took, yeah. And so I got the okay from that angle because I was very worried. I didn't know what to do. I mean, how the hell am I going to embark on this crazy situation of debriefing with these people and then having a major problem with my family?
Right.
And then I asked them, is there any way, I was owed about $7 million. And is there any way you can get some of that? No, the money part, forget about that. That's a big zero on that. Just have him do whatever he can to get out. We're each going to fight our own battles when it comes to the U.S. government because we each have a different situation. But whatever he has to do to, clean his deal, go ahead.
Did you, I'm trying to think, because you had family money too when your father died, right? So when they seized your assets, I would imagine they seized pretty much everything that was illegal, but you still had money. No?
You see, my mother lived in the same house on Key Biscayne. I could have taken my money and bought her a mansion. I could have added three new floors to her old house, but I didn't want any of that. Thinking ahead, I said, if I ever have a problem, they can't say that any of my money went into her properties or anything. So I never, thank God she never needed my money because she had her own. So I never mixed apples and oranges.
But you had money for your family then while you were gone, and you had money when you came out of prison. You just didn't have as much money because they took the illegal stuff.
When my dad passed away and I stayed in the sugar business a few more years, we liquidated all of my dad's holdings, and that went straight to my mom. I didn't need it. So I gave it all to her.
Okay.
I didn't need it. So she had her own money.
Is your mom still around today?
No, she passed away in 2017.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Was it 2017?
But point being, there was at least money in the family. Like you weren't left destitute by this.
By what happened to me?
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, they had money, but I also had some of mine.
You still had some?
I was allowed to keep some of it.
Who were your agents? I want to deal with them if I ever get in trouble.
No. I mean, it's not like that. It's not like that. But, it's not like I go out and buy a Ferrari or anything. Right. But, my wife was allowed to keep her apartment and another property and this and that.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.